Hey there, and welcome to a new series I'm calling What They Didn't Tell You This Week. This is the only show built entirely for parents where I do the research for you and you just have to pay attention for a couple minutes. There's a lot going on in the world and I want to make sure you're getting the information you need. I'm Amanda Armstrong and each week I will bring you 5 things you definitely need to know about. Let's start with a big one. The federal government just officially moved special education oversight out of the Department of Education, and if your child has an IEP, this does affect you. Here's exactly what's happening. The Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, which is known as OSERS, has been transferred to the Department of Health and Human Services. OSERS is the critical agency that makes sure that states are following the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. They are the actual federal enforcement power that ensures your local school follows your child's IEP. The issue is that Health and Human Services Department has no history of managing education compliance. They handle healthcare, meaning this is completely out of their traditional lane. At the same time, the Office for Civil Rights, which handles school-level disability discrimination complaints, is being moved over to the Department of Justice. So here's what you need to do right now. Document absolutely everything. Save every single email, log the details of every meeting, and get every single accommodation request in writing. The entire federal enforcement structure just shifted overnight, and nobody sent parents a memo, so keep your personal records on lockdown. The second thing you need to know comes out of Denmark, and it's not the World Cup. A massive cohort study looked at a genetic risk among people diagnosed with ADHD and autism over several decades. They discovered that as the number of diagnoses went up, the genetic risk baseline among those diagnosed actually decreased. Now, why does this matter? It proves we're not just giving out labels to people who don't have it. Instead, it means our diagnostic criteria and clinical practices are finally expanding. We are finally catching the people who always had it, but were traditionally missed, especially girls, women, and anyone who masked their symptoms really well. The rise in numbers is a detection story, not an overdiagnosis epidemic. So the next time someone minimizes your family's journey, remember this: your child's diagnosis is not a trend. It's recognition that was long overdue. Another study published this year calls parental burnout a progressive condition. Not a metaphor, a measurable escalating pattern, and it hits parents of neurodivergent kids hardest. Here is what the research actually tells us. Parental burnout affects at least 5% of families, but the numbers skyrocket for parents raising kids with disabilities or mental health conditions. And it's not just being tired. This is a real documented medical condition that directly impacts parental bonding, family relationships, and your ability to show up the way you want to. According to the data, the biggest risk factor are low support networks and low emotional regulation skills. Let's call that what it is: executive function. That is exactly why I built my course for adults first. Your executive function is the literal environment your child is developing inside of. You're not dramatic and you're not weak. Parental burnout is a real condition, and there are specific skills that can help you manage it. A third study you may want to read more about just confirms something a lot of us already knew. Masking your ADHD doesn't make it go away. It makes everything worse. Here's the data. Simon Fraser University found that adults with ADHD who constantly mask their traits to fit in socially pay a massive price when it comes to their mental health and well-being. Masking is physically and emotionally exhausting because you're forcing your executive function to run on overdrive just to appear neurotypical. Now think about the default parent doing this. You are masking at work, masking with family, and masking at the school pickup line, all while simultaneously trying to manage your child's complex executive function needs. The math simply does not work. You can't pour from an empty executive function system. If you're holding everything together on the outside but falling apart on the inside, that's not a personal failure. That is a brain running on a program it was never designed to run. Finally, if you've had trouble filling your child's stimulant prescription this summer, you're not alone. Nearly 18 million Americans are affected. Here is where things stand. The stimulant shortage that began back in 2022 is still not fully resolved as we head into summer of 2026. Generic medications like generic Adderall and generic Vyvanse are taking the hardest hit. Brand name options are generally more available, but they come with a much higher price tag. On the regulatory side, the DEA has officially extended telemedicine prescription waivers through the end of 2026, meaning your telehealth prescriptions remain completely valid. Because of the unstable supply, summer can actually be an excellent time to work on executive function strategies that don't depend entirely on medication. It is a perfect window to build core skills for the days when the meds are backordered or simply not the right call. Don't wait until the bottle is completely empty. Talk to your prescriber now to map out a backup plan. And if you want to build foundational executive function skills that work beautifully alongside medication or completely without it, that's exactly what my course covers. The information is in the description. That's it. That's your 5 for this week. If any of these hit home, make sure to share this with another parent who needs to hear it, and make sure to subscribe because I'll be back next week with 5 more things you need to know. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.